The Where's Washburn training camp tour continues from lovely Nashville, Tennessee, where we find my guy, Evan Washburn at Titans training camp. And Evan, Tennessee made a huge splash this offseason, adding Julio Jones to an already elite wide receiver group. So how's Julio fitting in?
Well, he's not fitting in on the practice field of late. He's been off the practice field for about a week now after suffering what is described as a minor but undisclosed injury. It doesn't appear to be anything serious. The expectation is that he will be available for week one. Obviously, want to be cautious with a guy entering year 11 in his career, and he does have an injury history, but he's still making an impact. Talking to A.J. Brown after practice today, he made it clear that Julio Jones, the legend, he brings it even in the classroom when he's not on the field.
Everything I thought it would be. He's a great pro, you know. As you can tell, his resume speaks for itself, but he's a hard worker, you know. He's a teacher, and I listen to him as much as I can. I'm trying to learn as much as I can from him daily. So I'm excited to be on the other side of him.
How good do you think this tandem could be, you and Julio?
I think it can be as good as we want it to be. You know, it comes down to we put in the work, you know, getting on the same page as an offense, you know, but for me and him, just feeding off each other and making plays, you know, when our numbers call.
As physically imposing a tandem as we'll have in the league this year when you look at the size of both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. And speaking of that physicality, A.J. Brown comes into this training camp as healthy as he's ever been in his career. It's important to note he missed 3 games last year due to injury and was really nicked up all year long. Still had 70 catches, 1,000 yards, Pro Bowl season. He said he's ready to just blow through whatever ceiling he has or those have for him based off of how good he feels coming into this camp.
And Evan, the Titans also added a huge piece to their defense, signing Bud Dupree this offseason. How's Bud Dupree's health as he works his way back from ACL surgery?
Similar discussion here to that of Julio Jones. Now, as you mentioned, 8 months ago, suffered that torn ACL, was taken off the PUP, the physically unable to perform list last week. He's back at practice in full pads, going through individual drills, but not part of team periods yet. But this is part of the plan. Cautious approach to get to week one healthy. But there's an expectation that Bud Dupree is going to be a big part of revamping this entire defense for the Titans, because that was the glaring issue for this team a year ago, especially on third down and especially with the pass rush, with just 19 sacks. They feel like Bud Dupree adds in that department, and that'll help the back end that is also very new looking.
Without question. So, Evan, what has Mike Vrabel's message been to this Tennessee Titans team that really has very high expectations coming into this season?
Well, Adam, you know Mike Vrabel. I would imagine part of that message would be to not listen to any of the expectations from the outside, because all they care about is what's happening in this building. But it's a pleasure to watch him coach this team, because he's as vocal and as all over the place as any head coach that you'll find. He is part of the offense. He's part of the defense. He's not necessarily working on the fields right now, but somebody is. And Vrabel's all about laying the foundation for this team in training camp to create that standard that they feel like they can meet throughout the year. This team's well aware of the expectations, and for them, what they did last year wasn't good enough, and what they did 2 years ago wasn't even good enough getting to the AFC title game.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.